to the Lululoves Crochet Podcast, episode 27. My name is Emma, and this is my podcast about crochet, crafts, and books mainly. Hello, how are you all? I hope you all had wonderful holidays and enjoyed some time off. We had a lovely break. Yes, I was a bit sad for it to be over this year, but I'm slowly making friends with the new year. Slowly. It does take me a good month to warm up to a new year. So I've been reading quite a lot over the Christmas period, but I'm maybe not crocheting as much as I normally would have. And I think probably because last year was so intense crochet-wise with the book, I've sort of stepped back a little bit from it, but I have really just been finishing off projects, and I do have a couple of things to share crochet-wise. So I'll just get started. Oh, actually, and before I do, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who watched and left comments on the Vlogmas episodes that Lulu and I filmed. I really enjoyed doing it, actually. Although I'm not sure how people managed to film and edit a video a day throughout December, because I think I managed about 2 a week, and yes, that was more than enough. But I really enjoyed filming them and watching them back. So I think I'll really look forward to watching them again sort of later in the year. But yeah, so thank you if you took the time out to leave a comment. I know that there were so many Vlogmas videos going up. I know that I didn't get a chance to watch all of the ones I wanted to, although I did watch a lot. So yes, thank you for your support. I was a bit nervous to do it, but actually I really enjoyed it. So I'll definitely do something like that again. So I will get started and I will talk about the first item. So I finally finished my cardigan. I suppose it's almost a bit like a kimono style cardigan. I'm just calling it a boxy cardi. I think I spoke about this in a couple of videos because I've been making it on and off for most of the year, but I'll just stand up and show you what I've got. So that's the finished cardigan, which is just very simple to wear and so lovely and warm. It just, you know, in the evenings, if I'm just feeling the chill a bit, I just pop this on and it just warms me up so much. So it's got those lovely sunburst granny squares. That's a free pattern you can get online. I will put all the details in a blog post, because I realise I've bought up some Christmas gifts, crochet related Christmas gifts as well, and I haven't written down who they were from, you know, what makers. So it's just square construction, and again it's just almost like a massive rectangle with a panel missing for the take it off, for the neck. I think if you watch the last podcast you might be able to see more clearly what I was talking about. So that's really what we've got. It's just a big rectangle with one square missed out. But what I've done is, because I've had lots of questions on it, I've written up how I've done it, how much yarn I used, what yarn I used, how many squares I did, and how I've joined them in a blog post. So I've just got to take some more photos and then I'll get that up. And I've also drawn a sort of schematic of the layout of the squares if you'd like to make something similar. I've just been joining mine with a shawl pin, but I might actually add some buttons to it. And like anything that's really doesn't have an allowance for a shoulder, it can hang a little bit short at the back. So I tend to just sort of wear it, you know, the middle seam is here, and I tend to just wear it sort of drops back a bit, and then fasten with a what are they called? A shawl clasp or something like that. I may add some buttons, but I like the freedom to either be able to you know, wrap up tight in it, or sort of leave it bit lower. Anyway, I'm really happy with it. I only had enough yarn to do a very simple single crochet edging along there, but I did manage to put in a bit of ribbing along the edge. That's just front post, back post ribbing. Ooh, there we go. But again, I'll put more pictures and explain everything I've done in a blog post. Because I think it's a nice alternative to, excuse me, to making a blanket. If you want a project, you know, a longer term project on the go, that's really nice. I mean, a blanket would have been beautiful, but anyway, moving on. So, what else? Oh, I'll show you this. I made this. I did show this in the vlog, one of the Vlogmas issues, but this is the Crochet Starket from Woolly Mahusive. Such good fun. Uses this really chunky yarn. Had a bit left over, yes. Let me show you. Oh. There we go. It's this chunky yarn. It's sort of like a tube of some sort of cotton fabric stuffed. This is what I had left over from the kit. And you can see there. It's just like a tube of fabric stuffed with sort of wadding. It's really easy to work with, and I did buy the giant crochet hook. I think it was a 25mm to go with the kit, because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do the hand crocheting, but actually it was really easy, and I ended up doing a combination of both. But I really loved the way it came out, and it was a perfect project for you know, Christmas. And then I just wove some fairy lights around it, and we had that sort of on display over the Christmas period. But now I'm going to find somewhere else for it to live. But yeah, I can't remember how much the kit was. I did pay for it. Again, I'll pop all the details in the blog post. My brain is just taking such a long time to warm up to the year. And then the other thing I was working on last time was the embroidery kit that I'd been sent from the Folklore Company. So I finished my embroidery, if you can see it there. And that was a quote from Wuthering Heights. There we go. So I had done most of the quote, and then I finally managed to get time to embroider the birds. So yeah, that's really nice. I might need to give the thing another iron actually. It's still looking a bit crumpled in there. So I was really happy with that. So I finished that, and that's been already put up. The last project I brought up to show you is another pair of wrist warmers. My mum, I was talking to my mum, and she said, oh, I really love those wrist warmers you had. You know, I'd love it if you could make me a pair. So I thought that was a nice easy start to the new year to make something that I'd already made. So they are the Catherine wheel wrist warmers, or wristies I think they might be called. Again, it's a free pattern. I've made it before. I will put all the links on the blog post, and what I'm just doing is using some of the leftover yarn that I had. It was this is it here, the Drops Puna, and this is what I've used to make my cardigan as well. I had a load of this sort of fawn colour, and then I'd also ordered a ball each of these colours. I'm not sure, I think maybe I'd intended to make a jumper with it, but I couldn't for the life of me remember why I'd ordered it. But I've made Mum's wrist warmers and still got quite a lot left, so I'm not sure what I'll do with that actually. I guess I could make another set or try and make maybe a little cowl or something. I don't know if that would be enough. It does feels like I've barely used any of the yarn, to be honest with you. What is that, 50 grams? I think there must be 30 or 40 grams left. So I still have got some edging to do on these. So that's that beautiful Catherine wheel stitch. And then I'm just going to edge. This one I've started sewing up. And what I'm doing is I'm just using the ends to, that was my pin, to sew them together. So I haven't quite finished this one yet. But they will look something like this. They're lovely, aren't they? I just love that Catherine wheel stitch. I think they look so pretty. The only other thing I've done differently is I did a foundation single crochet at the start instead of a normal single crochet. It just gives you a little bit more stretch, and I think my mum's hands might be slightly bigger than mine, so I just wanted to give her that flexibility really. So yeah, so I'm just in the process of sewing those together, and then once they're fully joined and I've left a gap for the thumb, I will put an edging on those. Probably in the cream, I think. The pattern did have quite an intricate edging, I think a couple of rows, but when I made them up last time I think I just used one row, maybe the picot edging, and I liked the way that looked, so I might do that again. And that is everything. I haven't started any new projects yet, apart from the mitts for my mum. I'm feeling a bit lost, I think, when it comes to what to start. And I think the reason for that is guilt, because I still haven't I didn't bring it up. I did finish the beret I was working on as well. I still got to write up patterns for the beret. And there were patterns I was working on over Christmas that didn't get written up. So I may write those up as well so they're ready for later in the year. Yeah, so I still feel like I'm almost finishing off. And I'm not sure what to start next. I think I want to make a jumper. I want to make another blanket. I need to have a good look around and see what yarn I've got left. And what, you know, whether I need to place an order for some more yarn. I just need to take some time, I think. I need to declutter this room. That's got to happen. Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure. What are you lot making? Are you making anything fun? Maybe a shawl. Maybe, actually I quite fancy a shawl. I wouldn't mind another shawl. I haven't made one of those for a while, I think. So let me know if you've come across any pretty patterns you think I might like, because I am, yes, completely sort of feeling a bit lost and overwhelmed when it comes to what to start next. So anyway, that's it for crochet. I'll show you a few of the things I got for Christmas that are crochet related, and then I've got just a selection of books to talk you through. So the first thing is this project bag, which I absolutely love. Let me take out everything that's inside it now. My husband asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I did say I would like a new project bag. So he said that you know, I ought to just go and choose one. So I ordered this one. That's, can you see? Oh, I just love it. It's so much fun. I don't know, there was something about it that I just really, really liked. And again, it's one of the pull bags, which I just find work easiest for me. But I absolutely adore that. And then inside, the other side's just got the same couple sitting there. Inside it's just got, looks like some almost Cath Kidston style rose print, but I just really love that. Now, I can't remember the maker off the top of my head, but I did buy it on Etsy. I also had purchased another one, a Christmassy one. So I will leave the link to that. I just adore it. I don't know, something about it that just speaks to my quirky mind, I think. So I love that, and I've had, oh dear, everything's going to fall on me now. I've had my wrist warmers in there, so I'll put those back. So yeah, that was one Christmas present. I love that. And then my husband very kindly bought me a new crochet hook. And I hadn't asked for it, and I did think it was curious actually. He was asking me about what size crochet hook I used the most, which seemed like an unusual question at the time, but I do get asked it a lot from people that are interested in crochet. So, you know, I just said, well, I would say a 4 or 5 millimeter, and I didn't think anything more of it. And then on Christmas Day, he presented me with this box. And it's just so thoughtful. Inside was this sterling silver crochet hook, a 5 millimeter. That's not going to focus very well, is it? It's lovely. It's got very slight detailing there in the end. And it's not too heavy either. You would think that that would be really heavy, but it's, you know, it's all hallmarked. I just think that's a really, really thoughtful gift, and, you know, something that I can use, but also that I can keep. Anyway, the name, I think he may have got it from Etsy, but he definitely ordered it online somewhere. I don't know how he found her, but... And there was a card with it from her, but I don't know why I've put it somewhere safe. Anyway, her name is Lynn Roberts Designs. And again, I will put all the information in the blog post, because I don't even know how much he paid for it, to be honest with you. Like I said, it was a gift, but they've been handmade. And it's just beautiful. I think it's just such a beautiful, beautiful gift. So I haven't actually worked with it, but it feels nice and smooth. I really, really loved that. And it came beautifully wrapped in its box. So that was really, really unexpected. But I will definitely cherish that. And then my eldest daughter got me this book. I don't know where she got it from. It just says projects on it. Oh, there we go. Which I absolutely love. And it's got some information on projects, and writing is therapy, and just really, really lovely. But all the pages you can use either as lined or dots, so they're not quite squared. They've got these dots in, which is handy for me because I do use graph paper when plotting charts. So I really, really love that. Just says the School of Life on the back. It's quite a nice thick one as well. So that was really useful, and again, really thoughtful. Yeah, I was so chuffed. And then lastly, I also got this little pouch. I think this was, well, I know this was Anthropology. And it's got my initial on it. It's been lovely. It's been embroidered. And I'm going to use that for notions, I think. Almost too pretty to use, but I don't believe in keeping things for best. If you love something, use it. So, full of tissue paper at the moment. I absolutely adore that. And I just think that would be perfect for keeping scissors, needles, a tape measure. So, yeah, I was pretty well spoiled, I think. Oh, excuse me. Can I have a swig of my coffee? And that's it really. That's all the new things. I've just placed a yarn order actually, although there was nothing too exciting in it, but that's for another project. Anyway, I will talk to you quickly about some books. I read absolutely loads over the Christmas period. So everything I read is on my Goodreads account now. So I will, again, I'll put the link below and add that to the blog post. I managed to read 32. I'd set a target for 30 books. I managed to read 32 books last year. So I was pleased with that. So this year's target I've set at 35. And only because some weeks I can just fly through books and other weeks I can just not read at all. So I will go through quickly some of the ones that I read. Bear with me if I've forgot anything. Some of these I read back in December. So the first one I've brought up to show you is Lullaby, and this is by Leila Slimani. Looks like that. This is a library copy. And this is, I mean, it starts off quite with a very traumatic event in that, and it's not a spoiler because it says on there, the baby is dead, it only took a few seconds. So a mother comes home, and this book has been translated from a French novel as well, but I find the translation absolutely fine. A woman comes home to her two dead infants basically, and the nanny who's tried to kill herself. And then what happens is it then very quickly skips to the mother wanting to go back to work and not really feeling very fulfilled being at home with the two youngsters, and them hiring this nanny who is seemingly perfect. She not only looks after the children, she cooks, she cleans, she's a proper Mary Poppins, and they very quickly find they can't live without her. But she's obviously got some psychological issues, and really the book is really about her state of mind and how it sort of deteriorates until this awful act. I flew through it really, and although it's not, you know, obviously you start at the end so you know what's happened, so that there's no big revelations coming. I just found, just reading about how her mental state deteriorates so much that she could contemplate doing something so awful was fascinating. So although slightly morbid, and if you're not into that kind of psychological thrillers, you may want to give that a miss. I just flew through that. So the camera's flashing at me. Just a minute, I'll stop and start again. There we go. Right, where were we? Yes. Next up, we have got The Perfect Stranger. Again, another library copy. I'd not read any of these. This is by Megan Miranda. Apparently she wrote All the Missing Girls. Another thriller. So this is about a young journalist, Leah, who needs a change, and what happens is she bumps into an old friend who she lived with very briefly when she was at a point in her life when I guess things were going quite badly wrong for her. And they only lived together for a summer, and then they sort of lost contact for 8 years. They run back into each other, and the roommate, I think Emmy, suggests that they just take off anywhere and start again. So they sort of move to a random place, or seemingly random, and they're living out in the woods in this cabin, and Leah gets a job as a teacher, and Emmy seems to do odd jobs. She's never very specific about what she does, until one day there's a murder. Another young girl turns up dead, and she realises she hasn't seen her housemate for a couple of days, because they often sort of crossed over their shifts, and that crossed over. So it really is a kind of like a where is she and a whodunit. It's really interesting. And if you like, I suppose books like Gone Girl or Single White Female, that kind of like thriller, it's really it is really gripping and a page turner, because it turns out that she actually doesn't know very much about her roommate at all. She doesn't know anything apart from the very few snippets that she's been told. There's no personal items of hers in the house. She doesn't exactly know where she lives, to the point where I think the police think she's actually making this person up. So really, really fascinating. Absolutely loved that. And I'm going to look out now for her other book, All the Missing Girls, because yeah, absolutely flew through that. So I definitely recommend that. And then I also managed to finish Ian McEwan's The Nutshell. I bought this last year somewhere, I think, and I think I'd read the first chapter or so and not been terribly engrossed. Now, I do find that with Ian McEwan's writing, although it's beautiful, and I have enjoyed several of his books, The Child in Time and Atonement, I find it takes me a while to warm up to his style of writing, because he's very, I just feel like he luxuriates over words so much that you can read a couple of paragraphs and actually nothing, the story hasn't been furthered, and it's almost like he's in his own head. It's beautiful, but the first 50 pages were quite like that. It is a story of it's unusual in that it's told by the embryo, or not even an embryo, a baby at this point. It's told by an unborn baby. It's the unborn baby's perspective, and basically what the unborn baby is witnessing is a plot by the mother, his mother, and another person to murder someone. It's very good. It's good. After the first 50 pages, once I persevered through that, it definitely got better. The story moved forward. Yeah, and I actually really enjoyed it. So yeah, let me know what you thought of that one if you've read it, because I would be intrigued, because like I said, I nearly didn't pick it up again. So but I'm glad I did. And then lastly, I've just finished this one. This is called The Roanoke Girls. And I wanted to read this maybe a year or two ago, when it first came out. Do you find it confusing when they use different covers for the paperbacks to the hardbacks? Because I picked it up not really knowing much about it. Then I put it into Goodreads and I was looking at the reviews, and I saw that the hardback had a different cover, and that I'd wanted to read it for a while. So but I hadn't associated it because the cover was completely different. Anyway, this is another psychological kind of, I suppose, whodunit. I have seen this described on Goodreads as somewhere between Sharp Objects and Flowers in the Attic, in that it has quite a disturbing storyline, which I didn't realise when I picked it up, about abuse within a family, basically. So this is about two girls. They're Roanoke girls. They belong to a family of Roanoke called the Roanokes, and they met one summer after I think they're cousins. Well, it all gets terribly complicated, but I think initially they assume they're cousins, and they meet for one summer, and then one of them goes. And it basically says that the Roanoke girls either die or run away. So you're kind of immediately, you're thinking, well, what's going on here? Anyway, as an adult, she comes back to the house when she discovers that her cousin has gone missing, and her cousin absolutely adored the Roanoke homestead and would never have left it. So she sort of goes back to find out what happened to her. And I suppose, yeah, I mean, it's disturbing. It doesn't have what I'd call a happy ending, but I suppose more realistically it has an ending that moves forward, hopefully. So, but I did really like it. I really, I wanted to see what happened. I enjoyed the writing, so I'm pleased that I read that. And that is it for books. What have we been watching on the television? Anne with an E is back on Netflix. Obviously, I've been gorging myself on that. What else? I think that's about it. There's a new TV series that started with David Tennant. Can't remember what it's called. Might be Deadfell or something like that. We watched the first episode last week, and again that was quite disturbing, but we watched it. I think the second episode's on tonight, so I'm not sure how I feel about that one yet. And I don't think we've really been watching anything else, really. We've watched oh, I did go to the cinema. I went to the cinema a lot over the Christmas holidays. Went to watch Frozen 2 with Lulu, Star Wars with Ollie, and my eldest and I went to watch Little Women, which I absolutely adored. I was saying to Kyra the other day, I want to go back and see that now, and she agreed. It's one of those films I could just watch again. It's very visually beautiful. I enjoyed the actors. I thought were really good. Yeah, I just really enjoyed it. So, although I was crying through most of the film, because obviously if you've read Little Women, you know where that story's going from the beginning. So, yes, I really, really enjoyed that. And that's about it, really. So, I hope you were all well. Let me know what you're making. And I will put up a blog post with for this, and I will put up the show notes with everything I've mentioned and links to the things that I've purchased and I can't remember where I've got them from. So I will see you all again soon. Yeah, and that's it. So take care. Bye.